Okay, good morning, guys. Hey, we're going to slow our roll here a little bit. All right. My intention was to have done a fourth draft today, but it kind of came to my attention yesterday that some of us, somewhere along the way, didn't get the message, and I'll own it. Maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining it. Um, didn't get the message that we're supposed to be doing all of our drafts here on our original drafting document, which we can find in the Project Writer section in Classroom and Classwork. All right. So this is where you should have three drafts. All right. And so what I have done is I've created kind of a model or an example of what that format is supposed to look like. All right. And so I want to go over that with you today. And then we're just making one small addition today. Maybe you've already watched the video. It's for elaboration using parentheses, but that's another thing. All right. So here is the example of what I expect the format to look like on this drafting document. All right. So you should have three drafts. Okie dokie. You had your original down draft, which we did on 1019. This is where you went from this document right here, refining purpose, where you had to come up with your new purpose statement. All right. And then once you had that, you were supposed to come here, post that purpose statement right here, and then provide your genre. All right. Which we did last week. All right. And so here I have my purpose statement. Here I have my genre, which is a personal essay. And then we just simply did our downdraft. And then to remind you, our downdraft was just as the name suggests, we had to get it down on paper. All right. I asked you to spend your honest 20 minutes to get it down on paper. And a lot of you ended up with something that just looked like this, which was totally fine. All right. I didn't expect it to be complete. I didn't expect it to be pretty. All right. I didn't expect it to be good. I just expected it to be down, as the name suggests. All right. So that was our first draft. The next draft came with developing draft 1.0, which was focused on organization. All right. This is where you were supposed to make sure that what you did up here now started to take shape depending on what genre you had selected. All right. So, for example, as I shared, if you're writing an essay, the basic organization that I expect to start seeing are paragraphs. All right. And so down here, I tabbed, all right, or indented to show that I had paragraphs. It's starting to look like an essay. Some of you are doing journal or diary entries. All right. This one should have dates at the top, some kind of chronological order to it. All right. Some of you are doing letters. All right. Well, there should be a heading, a salutation. There should be paragraphs in your letter. There should be a closing at the end. All right. Um, and the list goes on. It just depends on what you do. And some of you are doing top 10 lists. Well, I need to see it start looking like a top 10 list. All right. That was the intent with developing draft 1.0. All right. Notice I carried my genre down and I carried my purpose statement down. The reason for that is I want those foremost in your mind, particularly the purpose statement. I'm asking you to go back and revisit that each day. Um, and then yesterday you were supposed to have done drafting 1.1, all right, and the emphasis here was elaboration, all right. And I asked you to do at least two examples, one of which had to be an example of clarification, which we went over yesterday, and I asked you to highlight those in yellow. So in your third draft, I should start seeing some highlights because that's showing me where you identified your different forms of elaboration. And it could have been more than clarification. I just wanted one of them to be clarification, but you had to have at least two methods of elaboration. Some of you included examples. Some of you included anecdotes, all right? Some of you included statistics, all right? Whatever that may be, I should see at least two places where you have added um, a method of elaboration in yellow. Today's focus is parenthesis, right? And I just talked about that a few moments ago. And so today you're going to add what is called parenthesis in terms of elaboration to your draft 1.1. So no new draft, all right? I just want you to go back to this draft from yesterday, and I want you to add two examples, at least two examples of parenthesis, and I want you to highlight those in green, all right? So this looks a little different from yours. Yours looks like this right here. All right. I just removed some stuff just for the sake of putting it all on one page. But your drafting document, this document right here, which you can find in Project Writer at the top of your classwork feed, all right, is where you should be doing this. All right. Now, each day, I have been giving you something that looks like this. All right. So, for example, this is what I gave you yesterday. You had your questions up here. I'm asking you to copy and paste the information in this cell into the drafting document that I just talked about. All right. So you should be highlighting what I have highlighted right here. You should be copying that, and then you should be pasting it into the drafting document. All right. So I am not going to add another draft today. All right. I just want you to focus on the elaboration emphasis today, which is clarification. And then I want you to focus on getting your 3 drafts, all right, which are not complete yet, all right? We're still drafting, okay? We're far from the publishing step of this. I just want you to have your 3 drafts. And again, the idea is to have those 3 drafts in the drafting document so you can see the progression and the evolution of the drafting that you're doing, all right, as we move through the process. And as long as you're spending your honest 20 minutes, as long as it's looking a little different each day, that is what we're looking for, kiddos. So hopefully this clears things up a little bit. If things still aren't clear, please reach out, and I will do try to do an even better job of explaining the drafting document to you. All right, thanks, kiddos.